This is Donnie Rightside college basketball season. When football is fully done in late February with a couple of weeks left of regular season action in conference campaigns, that's when DRS steps up and in. Team totals, player props, he's got you covered based on the models, based on the metrics, and with some winners on this Tuesday night. And each and every Tuesday night in college basketball really has been sensational. We expect nothing but the same on this Tuesday evening. We start in the Big Ten. We're starting today with a triple header of action. In Big Ten men's basketball, there is at least one game every day through the end of the regular season, Sunday, March 9th. 21 consecutive days of Big Ten hoops, baby. And what a way to get it started. Top 15 tilt tonight in East Lansing. It is Michigan State and Purdue. Number 14, MSU. Number 13, Purdue, who dropped both of its games last week. First back-to-back losing skid for the Boilers in Big Ten play in nearly 2 years. In the Spartans, after making some history on Saturday evening in Champaign against Illinois, a 3.5-point home favorite tonight. Total at 148 and a hook. Donnie, how do you break down this Big Ten bash tonight in East Lansing?
If you came to watch the three-point shot, turn the TV off and go to sleep. That ain't happening tonight because Michigan State's defense, number one overall in efficiency in Big Ten play, going up against Purdue's number one offense in efficiency. So right away, you'd say, well, they probably use the three-point shot a lot. Not necessarily. 13th out of 18 teams at volume from three-point range, that is Purdue. But how about Michigan State's defense here, Ben? Number one in Big Ten play at defending the three-point line. But here's the caveat. Yeah. They'll let you shoot the three-point shot, but they defend it extremely well for a team like Purdue that doesn't necessarily want to do that. So you look at the point distribution here. Number two in Big Ten play is Purdue inside the arc. That's pretty good. But Michigan State is stingy inside the arc at also defense. As we told you, number one overall in efficiency. But here's where the game lines up pretty good here. Michigan State on offense, third in efficiency against the third most efficient defense in Purdue. So you're trying to make some of those changes. Where can we fit in? Now, the one thing that Michigan State has to try to avoid tonight, Purdue is the best team in Big Ten play at turning you over. 15th in the conference at turning the basketball over is Michigan State. You also take a look at Michigan State at the three-point line. As I told you to start, we're not getting a lot of three-point shots here. Why? 18th in conference play at volume from the three-point line. That's Michigan State. Purdue defends it pretty well. That's not where they look. Point distribution inside the arc, fourth overall here for Michigan State. But here's the caveat, too. Number two in conference play, Michigan State, at getting to the free throw line. You take a look at Purdue, 11th in fouling in conference play. Why is that important? Who's the best free throw shooting team in the Big Ten? It is Michigan State at 81% as a team. And you take a look at the point distribution. Who's number one at scoring the percentage of their points from the free throw line in Big Ten play? It's Michigan State. In a close basketball game that they are favored, they'll make their free throws. I think it's going to be a great game, a close contest. But I had to pick a side. I would lay with Michigan State in this game.
When you look at the total as well, 148 and a half, the Spartans under in 5 of 6 for all of the defensive reasons that Donnie just highlighted. Purdue over in 5 of its last 6 games. Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn playing at a Big Ten, all Big Ten level. And frankly, Braden Smith, the only other guy with a price. That is Purdue's point guard. He is the best in the country as a point guard. The only other guy with a price to win the Wooden Award outside of Cooper Flagg and Janai Broome. It is a critical week, DRS, for the race for the Big Ten regular season crown. Michigan State 11-3, Purdue 11-4. Both teams looking up ever so slightly at the maize and blue. Michigan beat Purdue last week at home. Michigan State heads to Ann Arbor on Friday night against its bitter rival in the Wolverines. What a great one it is going to be. Top 25 tilt in the SEC. We head to Stark Vegas. Number 21, Mississippi State, playing better on Saturday than they had entering in the Egg Basket Bowl against Ole Miss, winning on the road in Oxford. That incredibly impressive. But enter Texas A&M. 2.5-point spread, DRS, in favor of the Bulldogs at home. That total 141 and a hook. What's the play tonight between the Aggies and the Bulldogs?
Home court advantage does matter, but you take a look at Texas A&M's defense overall efficiency, number 2 in conference play. Where can you find those inefficiencies? Well, the one thing Mississippi State doesn't do as a team is shoot the three-point shot all that well, but they're 3rd in conference play at volume. Do you know who's 16th in volume on defense, which means they will let you shoot the three-point shot? It's Texas A&M. Well, good for us for Josh Hubbard. If you look at his last couple starts at home, he reigns from three-point range. Not going to be cheap, though. To make 4 of them, it's like a plus 160 number on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. I'm debating right now. 4 3-point shots or 16.5 points. One way or another, Josh Hubbard has to be the key tonight for Mississippi State.
Think about it over the break. More college basketball best bets next. Continuing to break down another wonderful Tuesday evening slate in college basketball. All right, DRS. Top 25 tilt in Starkville. Number 21, Mississippi State. Number 7, Texas A&M. You have had some time to think about it. How are you approaching Josh Hubbard tonight, the point guard for Chris Jans' Bulldogs?
Hey, let's just go both. I mean, come on now. Isn't there like a correlation here? Like it's going to splash 4 triples down, but we're not going to get over 16.5 points in this game? Nonsense. A couple free throws go through because, as we said, sometimes it doesn't line up. But if there's one game for a guy who loves to shoot 3-point shots, and he is going to be at home for this game against a team that's like, shoot as many as you want, like, hey, if he goes 1 for 9 from 3-point range, like, you know what? I had my chances at this point here. So I do think there's if they do win, I can't see him scoring 13 points in the win. You see what I mean? So I think both have to be that correlation. If they're going to play well and he loves to shoot 3-point shots against a team that will let you shoot threes, come on now. But 4. Like, they're not even giving you the 3 at FanDuel. Like, no, we're not buying that. You need 4+. And it is a good plus money number, though.
But it does make sense because Josh Hubbard in 7 consecutive games has attempted at least 8 threes.
Yes.
Now, he's not hitting at a 50% clip, but still, he's getting that volume out there. In 9 of the last 10,
good at home,
at
too.
least,
he
has at least 8 hoisted threes out of Josh Hubbard. He is not scared to shoot. But Texas A&M, great defensively. The intensity that Buzz Williams' teams have always played with is carried over here for A&M. On that 2 line, the number 6 overall seed in the early bracket preview from the selection committee on Saturday afternoon. A&M has won 5 straight. They have also gone under in 8 of their last 9 games. I told you to keep an eye on Florida. Minus 115 to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and now the number 2 overall team in the country. On the rise in the AP Top 25, the Gators a double-digit home favorite tonight in Gainesville against Oklahoma. A little bit of movement, though, back to OU. 13.5-point spread in favor of the Gators. Is this game, DRS, going to be competitive tonight in Gainesville?
It might be competitive, but if I'm looking at any angle, it's probably the offense for Florida here, maybe a team total. You take a look at the offense for Oklahoma. They played a decent tempo here, by the way, over the past, 4 to 5 games, giving up some decent amount of points from their defense. If you look at Florida, 3rd most efficient team in the SEC on offense going up against Oklahoma's defense, which is 11th in efficiency. Also, one of the teams that fouls more than anybody else in SEC play, it is Oklahoma. Now, Florida doesn't really eat from the free throw line like we talk about some other teams needing that, but they love to shoot the 3-point shot. Number 1, 44% of the shots from the Florida Gators in conference play come from 3-point range, which is great because you look at the team that's 12th in line at letting you shoot the 3-point shot out of 16 in the SEC. It is Oklahoma. And also, you take a look at a team with Oklahoma's defense, don't rebound all that well, which means extra chance opportunities. Even if you took it inside the arc, 14th at defending inside the arc, that is Oklahoma. Florida should be able to do whatever they want on offense, and I look for a complete performance out of them in that way. So instead of looking at that mid-150s, let's just say, for the total for the game, just look at Florida. This game ain't going over unless Florida is the team that's helping push it to the over.
Porter Moser and his Sooners, one of 4 remaining undefeated teams nearing the end of 2024's calendar year around the D1 level in college basketball. Oklahoma started perfect, 13-0, but then SEC play happened, and they are just 3-9. They have lost 4 in a row. The Gators have won 4 straight. Florida over in 3 of those 4 games. Oklahoma under far more often as an underdog in SEC play, where they have been and where they will be tonight as they head to Gainesville. All right, DRS, plenty of other great games around the country tonight. Houston continues to try to keep pace atop the Big 12. They're a double-digit road favorite in Tempe against Arizona State. If the Cougs are to falter, might Iowa State be on the rise? Big-time favorite against a bad Colorado team at home tonight in Hilton Coliseum. Houston and Iowa State, Saturday in H-Town. That's going to be a really good one between those two teams. Texas Tech, keep an eye on the Red Raiders in the Big 12 title race. 7.5-point road favorite now tonight in, why am I blanking on where it is? Fort Worth to take on TCU. A couple of big games, DRS, in the Big 12.
There is. And by the way, you look at that Houston-Arizona State game. Sometimes you love the mismatches that you put together because you have a bad offensive for Arizona State going up against Houston, which we know is like being sent through the meat grinder. Look at the turnover percentage. One of the teams that turns it over the most in conference play is Arizona State. Who takes it away the most in conference play? It's Houston. How about offensive rebounding for Arizona State? Horrendous. How about a great defensive rebounding team here in Houston? And you just take a look at the stretch. Unless you're knocking down your three-point shots, which Houston will let you shoot, how are they going over their team total tonight for Arizona State? Like, I lost out yesterday by a couple points on Virginia. Like, if you're looking for a team total under, like, what does Arizona State do tonight to Houston? I don't think much. So maybe they stay under the team total tonight in that basketball game.
Houston in a great position in the Big 12 with a victory tonight on the road to win the conference crown for its second consecutive year. It's only 2 years in the league. There were some that worried, could the Cougs, who were so dominant in the American, do the same in the Big 12? The answer has, of course, been yes. With a victory tonight, Houston will be 14-1, a full 2 games in front of Arizona, who they beat in Tucson over the weekend. A couple of other big ones in the Big 10. Wisconsin, number 11 in the country, a team that I am incredibly excited by. Just a 3.5-point favorite against Illinois. The Illini trying to find it. Big East basketball. Marquette, 17.5-point favorite against a bad Seton Hall team. But that bad Seton Hall team beat UConn at home in New Jersey over the weekend. Connecticut hoping to bounce back at home against Villanova, 7.5-point spread. DRS, as you look around the country, elsewhere in college basketball tonight, what other games get your attention?
Yeah, trying to look at that Villanova-UConn game as you measure it out, because you're looking at the Big East here, which isn't great per se from top to bottom, but you look at the number 1 overall efficient team in conference play, it's Connecticut. You know who's number 2 in conference play in the Big East? It's actually Villanova. You're talking about Villanova, who's always had a penchant for shooting and making the three-point shot, shooting close to 40% as a team. 9th in conference play out of 11 at defending the three-point line, it's Connecticut. Now, the one thing that Connecticut does well, Ben, they chase you off of the three-point line. So the key for this ingredient is, can you get to the free throw line? Because Villanova shoots an incredible rate here at close to 82% as a team in conference play. But can you make your three-point shots? Connecticut fouls a lot, but UConn doesn't, Villanova doesn't necessarily get to the free throw line. But the key here also on the opposite side, Villanova is going to let you shoot the three-point shot. Connecticut likes to shoot the three-point shot. I actually think we get points tonight in Villanova, Connecticut, because that three-point line should be open. If guys are making their free throws and their three-point shots, why not tonight here? 2 efficient offenses, 2 average defenses. Give me some points at the XL Center in Hartford.
Love that, DRS. And let's keep an eye on some points tonight inside the Kohl Center in Madison. Not your father's Wisconsin basketball team. One of the best offenses we have ever seen out of Badgers basketball. In Illinois, again, they got off to a great start in Big Ten play, 4-1. They have now dropped 6 of their last 11. They have also gone over in 11 of their last 16 games. It's 160.5. It's a steep total tonight in Madison, but Wisconsin can score, Illinois can match, and the Illini will allow you to do so on the defensive side of the floor. Some really great games, DRS, with some huge implications all across college hoops. And again, we talked about the Big 12. Big one tonight in one of those handicapping spots. BYU now a 3.5-point home favorite in Provo against the Kansas team that is barely inside the top 25 after being the preseason number 1 for a second consecutive year. Last year, DRS, the Jayhawks had 8 Big 12 losses for the first time since the late 80s. They're kind of on a path to seeing that similar mark this season.
Yeah, and BYU, known a penchant, again, I love it, making the three-point shot and particularly doing it at home. But the one thing we do about Kansas, number 1 at defending the three-point shot in conference play. And also understand this, point distribution, number 1 here for BYU on offense, but number 11 on defense being stingy is Kansas. If they can hold up from the three-point line, Kansas is probably going to beat BYU tonight in their own building.
It would be a big one. The Jayhawks right now, 8-6 in conference play. Same conference mark for Kevin Young and his Cougars. DRS, enjoy the money line. We'll talk tomorrow. Jon Rothstein here next. Did you know there are only 2 more Tuesdays in the month of February? Did you know we are fewer than 4 weeks away from Selection Sunday, when the field of 68 in an NCAA men's tournament bracket will be unveiled? Did you know that Jon Rothstein is here with us on a Tuesday on the early line on SportsGrid on behalf of the FanDuel Sportsbook and, of course, doing some excellent work with CBS Sports. Jon, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for being here on the early line.
Ben, great to be with you. I don't know if my excitement level has ever been higher than it is right now because you had that incredible intro. Just 2 more Tuesdays until a month that has no peer.
I love that. I love that catchphrase indeed. And Jon, as we go through the end of February into early March throughout the entirety of the remainder of this Big Ten men's basketball regular season, there will be at least one Big Ten tilt each and every night. 21 consecutive days of Big Ten men's basketball. And what a way to get it started on this Tuesday night in a top 15 tilt in East Lansing, Michigan. Inside the Breslin Center, 14th ranked Michigan State hosting number 13 Purdue. Jon, 3.5-point spread in favor of the Spartans. Over-under stands at 148.5. This game is critical for the Big Ten title race. What do you expect tonight in East Lansing?
Well, I'm curious the emotion of both teams, Ben, as they're both coming off emotional situations over the weekend. Purdue was not vintage Purdue defensively on Saturday against Wisconsin, giving up 94 points to the Badgers at Mackey Arena. And then conversely, Michigan State is coming off that road win at Illinois, which was Tom Izzo's, defining win in terms of passing Bob Knight's record for the most, wins all time by a Big Ten head coach. So I expect a typical Michigan State-Purdue game. I'm really curious, though, how Michigan State's depth affects the Boilers. I think Michigan State's the deeper team, but Purdue has more star power, obviously, with Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn.
It has been the mentality for MSU all year, Jon. They wear it on their pregame warm-ups. Strength in numbers. We'll see if that continues tonight. It was Big Ten win number 354 on Saturday for Tom Izzo. Now the all-time winningest head coach in Big Ten history. One past Bob Knight. But Michigan State still in the hunt for a Big Ten regular season championship, as is Purdue, but Michigan at the top. Jon, how about this for a week in the Big Ten? This game tonight between MSU and Purdue. The Spartans 11-3, the Boilers 11-4 in Big Ten play. And then Friday night in Ann Arbor, it's Michigan at 12-2 hosting their in-state rivals in Michigan State. When all is said and done, at the end of this regular season, Jon, who wins a Big Ten regular season crown?
I think it's Michigan, and I think we can start to say right now that when you look at the makeup of this conference, if we're looking at a Big Ten Coach of the Year race, I think I would say Dusty May 1, Greg Gard number 2, and you look at the two dynamics in which those head coaches took over. Dusty May takes the Michigan job off a team that wins 8 games under Juwan Howard, builds a completely different roster, and now has Michigan in position to be in position to win a Big Ten regular season title. What about Greg Gard, meanwhile, whose team will host Illinois tonight in Madison? Greg Gard loses Chucky Hepburn to Louisville, loses A.J. Storr to Kansas. And remember, that was a Wisconsin team that was a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and the Badgers are significantly better. So those two coaches, to me, at the top of the Big Ten Coach of the Year race, Kevin Willard from Maryland, Mick Cronin of UCLA not far behind.
Jon, as you well know, not your father's Badgers offense this year for how prolific Wisconsin has been. 3.5-point spread in favor of the Badgers as they host a reeling Illini team inside the Kohl Center tonight. Let's get to the SEC. Top 25 tilt in Starkville. Number 21, Mississippi State, after a big rivalry road win over the weekend in Oxford, now gets ready to take on number 7, Texas A&M. The Bulldogs, an ever so slight 2.5-point favorite at home. Jon, A&M has won 5 straight games. How do you break down this matchup in the SEC tonight?
The mark of a team that's built to go deep in the NCAA tournament, the mark of a team that obviously is built for March, is how it plays away from home. Texas A&M entering tonight's game against Mississippi State in Starkville is 4-3 in true road games this season. And Ben, 2 of those 3 losses at UCF and then also at Texas were by a combined 4 points. And that 4-3 record does not count the game that Texas A&M won against Purdue at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis in December, which is an hour away from the Boilers campus. So if you count that as well as a road game, A&M is 5-3, and that's why when you consider what this team returned, over 82% of its scoring from last year's team that took Houston to the wire in the second round of the NCAA tournament and lost in overtime, and what it added in the transfer portal with Zurich Phelps, with Pharrell Payne, with C.J. Wilcher, I think you can say right now that unequivocally this is Buzz Williams' best chance to go to a Final Four.
I think you could say there is palpable buzz in College Station without little doubt. John, as we focus on the SEC, the early bracket preview on Saturday, we learned that Florida would be on the 1 line if the season ended when it did, and the committee thinks very highly of the Gators. How could you not? Florida now the number 2 team in the AP Top 25 this week. 13.5-point favorite now at home tonight in Gainesville as Todd Golden's Gators get ready to host Oklahoma. John, this game we can break down for sure. But when you look at this Florida team and what we will see tonight, what is the ceiling for UF this year?
You know, Florida is unequivocally a Final Four caliber team. Walter Clayton Jr. is playing like a first-team All-American. And, Ben, we have to remember this, and we have to continue to reiterate it as we continue to talk about college basketball. One of the biggest reasons why Florida has been so effective this year is because of the retention that this program has had. And I talked about this with Todd Golden yesterday on my podcast. You know, it was such a big priority for Florida to retain before it started adding. It allowed the Gators to have the foundation that they have right now. Walter Clayton Jr., Denzel Aberdeen, you know, Will Richard, Alex Condon, Tommy Houck, all of these players were a part of last year's team that made the NCAA tournament and lost to Colorado in the first round.
This is only February, but just 2 more Tuesdays in this month before one you know very well. Jon Rothstein, as always, we appreciate the time. More on the early line up next.